Okay, so here we go in this video. I was actually going to do this live. I was going to do one of my first YouTube lives, but I figured I would just do a recording. I'm going to do something unique in this video. I'm going to cover a lot of content and kind of do a general update and everything that I'm kind of active with right now in the crypto space. I normally keep my Bitcoin challenge separate from my proof of weak hands content, but I'm going to cover some of that content as well. So in this video, I'm going to talk about where I'm at right now in my Bitcoin challenge. My goal being to earn one full Bitcoin starting with no money. Where I'm at with that, what am I doing right now? I'm testing out some strategies, some advertising strategies, and I'll talk to you about that, my tests, what I've done so far, what I'm looking to do next. I'm also going to share with you kind of the update on a little bit of an update on proof of weak hands, mainly talking about what's going on with, does Ivan on Tech support proof of weak hands, and what is that all about, as well as been an interesting conversation with the developer of proof of weak hands, and I think that's pretty fascinating as well. So I'm going to cover some of that, and let's go ahead and get started. So first off, let's talk about the Bitcoin challenge. So if you're new to my channel, I'm running a challenge where my goal is to go from 0 Bitcoin to 1 full Bitcoin within 1 year. 0 Bitcoin to 1 full Bitcoin within a year. And I don't really care as much what the Bitcoin price does right now. We're at 6,700. It's probably going to go lower than that per Bitcoin, which means that when I'm actually mining these Satoshi right now, there's 7,601 Satoshi since my last withdrawal. Since I'm mining these Satoshi, then that what it really means is these Satoshi are worth less. I don't really care because ultimately I want to be holding some of these Satoshi. Remember, Bitcoin at one point was worth, 50 cents. At one point, Bitcoin was worth $1, $2, $5. And people would give them away to encourage other people to use them. And in some cases, people just lost them or quit or gave up. And so therefore, Bitcoin has a max supply, but the reality is one day Bitcoin it basically has a diminishing supply because Bitcoins have been lost. People have lost wallets and they don't know what they did with them, or computers crashed with Bitcoins on hard drives and people never retrieved them because they weren't worth all that much money. I believe that's true for these Satoshi. One day, what happens when these Satoshis are worth, a penny a piece or, you know, a nickel or more? Who knows what the future of Bitcoin holds? If Bitcoin goes to $1 million, these Satoshi are going to be worth something. And at that point in time, you're not going to be able to go out and buy them. So my whole thing is I believe in the space. So part of the reason I'm doing this, well, this is more for a challenge, and it's kind of about bringing awareness, because I know there are people that are watching this, and I've gotten direct messages and Twitter messages where people are watching this, and obviously I'm getting referrals because people are watching it. However, at the end of the day, it gives me a challenge. It's something fun to do, to play around with. It's fun from a marketing standpoint. I'm a little bit interested in marketing, so it's a bit of a hobby in that way as well. And it brings awareness to this space. This technology is going to change the world, but in order for it to be able to change the world, more people have to know about it. And so that's really kind of what I'm doing here. So right now I've made 2 withdrawals. I'll show you that. Oh, that's not how I'm going to show you. My payment uh, history. I've made 2 withdrawals. The last one was on the 20th, and I've gotten. Let's see. So I'm back up to 7,600. Now, what I'm looking to do right now, what I'm doing is looking to gain referrals. So the only way that I've advertised is on YouTube and Twitter, and I've not done any sort of paid advertising at this point. And I could, and if I did, I could blow this up. I could share some strategies that don't cost a lot of money that I'm 100% certain. 100. When I say not a lot of money, I don't know, 10, 15, $20 a month, and you could absolutely be getting, many referrals every day, several referrals every day. And if my viewers, if you're interested in that, then I'll be glad to do a video about that. Again, it's stuff that I'm not personally doing, but I know that it works from previous marketing efforts. Here's what I will tell you. If you want to join me on this journey, I'm trying to gain referrals right now, and mostly these are my frontline referrals. These are the ones that count the most. You make 15% off of everyone on your front line who is actively mining. And then you get, some percentage below here, but it's really small down here, like really small. Really, your frontline referrals are the most important, and maybe even second line, but mostly your frontline referrals. So, and the best thing about CryptoTab is that, well, let me go here first. My goal is to get more referrals, and right now I've just been getting the word out, talking to people that I know, and quite honestly, I've got a lot more people to talk to, and I'm going to talk to. The best referrals, if you know someone who's a little bit interested in Bitcoin, this is a very low risk way to participate in the space, and it's totally passive. Until you click on that icon, you don't even know it's running, and it's just running in the background. I'm doing this computer right now, and it's on max. I'm doing this video, and it's on max. So and what I can tell you is it can detect the resources the computer is using, because if I go to upload this video to YouTube, even though I got it set to max, it'll get all the way down to like 1 or 0 point something here, because it's using so many resources on my computer. So that's really cool about this. So I'll put a link down below. Google Chrome and Firefox and the Brave browser, if you're familiar with the Brave browser, all three can use this. But if you know someone who's interested like in cryptocurrency or Bitcoin, or they think it's fascinating, or if they were like me and they just watched it for years and they watched it go from 300 all the way up to 20,000 and now back down to 6,000, and they still haven't got in, well, this is a great way to introduce somebody to it. And one day, who knows, they might have a small fortune. What happens when this is $7, and what happens one day it's going to be $70 maybe, worth of crypto. Well, one day it's worth $7,000, and it's just a few days. I mean, you never know what the price of Bitcoin is going to be one day. But there's definitely some cases to be made where Bitcoin can hit 100 grand, $500,000, even $1 million, depending on future adoption as a currency and or store of value, and the technology behind it as well. So if you know someone who's interested in the cryptocurrency space, send them a link, call them on the phone, tell them, hey, look, you got to check this out. This is super cool. In fact, I could do a little video and show you how to, maybe I'll do that. I'll do a little video and show you how to introduce it to somebody. But it's neat. Anybody can use it. And by the way, the people that you know, your friends, they're the ones who are going to use it the most anyway. They're the ones who are going to ask you questions. The problem with advertising it the way I'm going to show you is, like, I don't know most of these people. Well, if they have questions, they'll just stop using it because they don't know me either. They have no way to connect with me. But if it's someone that you know, if they have questions or they're like, hey, that doesn't seem to be working right, what's going on? Then sometimes it's probably going to just be a simple issue. You can help them fix it. So definitely, if you're looking for a low-cost way, reach out to someone that you know who you think might be interested in the space. Or if cryptocurrency comes up in conversation, mention it to them. Tell them, hey, I got a link I'll shoot over to you. You got to check this out. Send them over the link. Of course, you can always share it on Facebook and Twitter. You will absolutely, if you share it on Facebook and Twitter, you will absolutely, get somebody to. Here's the cool thing about this. It costs nothing. It's using your computer's energy, but no one ever feels the cost. You don't pay $5, $1, 50 cents. You don't pay $10. It costs nothing. But it's slowly grinding here, making real money. Not a ton of money, but it's making real money. My goal is to get to, 20,000 users on my front line, actually 30,000. On my front line. That's just a goal that I have because there's a video on the main CryptoTab webpage that shows 1 point something Bitcoin, and it has a total of 20,000 users. I'm like, wow. So think about it this way. Your biggest users are your front line. So I have 15 users, or miners, or whatever you want to call it, on my front line. Of those 15, that's where the biggest portion of this is coming from outside of my own. I can already tell you, in fact, let me look. Oh, I don't know where I put the page. I moved the page. I'm getting, I want to say, about 100 and something. I'm getting around, I think it was about 300 Satoshi, not per hour, every 2 hours, I think. I'm doing over 1,000 Satoshi a day. 1,000 Satoshi a day. And 1,000 Satoshi is worth about 50 cents. So let's just be conservative. 1,000 Satoshi is worth like 5 cents. So let's be conservative just at today's numbers. Now, this is easy to grow referrals with just a little bit of advertising. The reason is because it's just a couple mouse clicks. People don't even put in their email address. So some of the advertising methods that I'm using for this would not even be able to be used. Typically, but they work well for this, and I'll show you why. Part of it's because when you go to the referral link, oh, this is all I gotta do? Click, boom, it's added. Oh, right here it is 1.89 Bitcoin. Now, I don't know when the last withdrawal was or anything like that, obviously, but I don't know if you can see that number, but it's 29,132 users. So I'm like, okay, I'll just have a goal to get 29,000 users on my front end, and I'll just go from there. That'll be my goal. But it's a matter of just clicking a button and you're done, and it's installed. It's super easy, and that therefore a lot of advertising avenues that would not typically work um, in the marketing space will work for something like this, because you don't even put in a zip code. There's sometimes there's ad pages where you put in like a zip code. You don't put anything in. You just click and boom. So now moving right along, one of the areas that I'm looking to advertise is here. This is easy hits for you, and I'll put a link in the description. And I'll try to put, in fact, as we're going here, I'm making a note of links. The ad, crypto tab, and then we're going to add this one for easy hits. Now what this is a traffic exchange, and it's mostly useless for most of what people want to advertise. There's only a certain types of products that would work on something like a traffic exchange. By the way, low resistant products where you don't have to enter an email address will work well on a traffic exchange. So all you have to do here is I come here, I got 322 credits. I have had 200, and it's kind of challenging for me to test crypto tab marketing because there's no sort of tracking. So here's what I do. I basically make it a point not to do a YouTube video. Part of the reason you haven't seen a YouTube video for me talking about crypto tab lately. I try not to do a YouTube video. I don't post anything on Twitter, and I try to do one source of marketing at a time. So for example, here I ran an ad. I basically did an ad here, and I normally, by the way, run ads to if I'm doing my own stuff, I want to run it to a YouTube channel talking about crypto tab, YouTube, and the reason being is because I want to create a community around it. So since for this challenge I can't start an email list, I don't have money to use for an autoresponder in this challenge, so my YouTube channel is the next best place. And so I would rather run them, even though I'm going to get far less people to follow through and actually download it, I believe, if I send them to a YouTube channel. The ones who do will have a better understanding, and they're going to learn stuff like I'm talking about right now, and therefore they're going to be better, quote-unquote, quality referrals than someone who doesn't know me, they just download the page. But when I'm testing for you, I know that most of you aren't going to start a YouTube channel. So even though I can probably create a channel without any links in the description, and you could use it if you needed to give it to someone, but with that being said, I'm testing going this advertising, this traffic going straight to the crypto tab page here, and if it will convert here, then I know it will convert for you. So what I'm doing is I'm just running it to see if I can get conversions, meaning people to download it and add referrals. Now here's the thing, I did a small ad with 250 credits, and I did get one conversion, but because it was just one random conversion, I wasn't certain it came from here. So now I'm working to get 1,000 credits. Again, you can buy credits, they're cheap. I think it's like $5 for 1,000 credits or something, or whatever it is, or 10,000 credits or 5,000 credits. And what the credits are this. I surf for credits. And this is the free part. You basically just come here. You wait out the timer. And I do this at night when I'm watching TV or whatever. When I come to my office in the morning, first thing I'll do is surf, 25 ads. On the weekend, I sit down and watch TV, surf ads. So then you click the two images that are together, you got one credit. Oh, I just got a surfing bonus. Isn't that awesome? 50 credits, 100 banners. Wow, just received for surfing 1,000 pages. That's awesome. Okay. So that's a surfing bonus. This is a special promotion they're running for spring. I actually thought I missed this. I didn't think I got this, but that's cool. So as soon as this is up, we'll just keep going. So this is the next banner. So these are credits. I just earned another credit. What credits are is I can put in my crypto tab page. I can add that in, and they will start basically when people click, they'll see my page. This is low quality advertising. People are obviously being incentivized to do this. like I'm doing right now. However, again, there's nothing to enter. There's no real risk there, and it's easy for people to do. So it actually can work, and I believe it will work. I just don't want to. I've got to test out 1,000 credits, and I'm hoping with 1,000 credits, within by the time those 1,000 credits are used up, it'll take it a day or two. But by the time those 1,000 credits are used up, that it'll be obvious. By the I'll get 2 or 3 or maybe 4 or 5 if I'm lucky, people to use it, to use CryptoTab and download it and start using it. And if that happens, that'd be awesome. And then I'll know, okay, then that's one way I can get frontline referrals. Just come over here to Easy Hits for you and just start surfing and get credits. So this is one thing that I'm doing. The other thing that I've actually did a small test with, but I'm going to retest, is this AdBTC. And I'll put a link down below for this. Now here's what happened when I tested AdBTC. By the way, the links I'm going to put down below are referral links, and you'll be helping me out with this challenge because I'll get a little bit of credit if you test it out. But right now, I'm telling you about Easy Hits, and I'll put a link below if you want to test it out. And if you do something that works, let me know. But let me back up over here for just a minute. So my first goal is to test out just straight credits, 1,000 credits. And then I want to surf 1,000 more credits and want to test out banner ads. And then I may test out text ads. I don't know. So if you come to Easy Hits and whether you surf credits and you test them out and you get a lot of good results, if you do, put it in my comments. The cool thing about banner ads and text ads is that, first of all, it takes a lot of banners. I mean, banners have a 0.05 or something, like 10,000 banner impressions will get you 5 clicks. That's the industry average. So it takes a lot of banners, but they're non-incentivized. So they see your banner, they're like, oh, that looks interesting, and they click on it. And so who knows, there's a possibility that could be a better quality visitor. We'll see. I'll be able to compare it if I have it, 1,000 credits. I don't know what it converts into, but it's quite a lot of banners, enough that I can do a good test. So I'm gonna test this, and then I may go back and test banners, and I may go back and test text ads here. The challenge is it takes time, and I'm losing time out of my year. So if you end up testing one of these 3 things over here on your own, and again, if you want to put money towards it, it's not very expensive. If you want to surf for credits like I'm doing, it takes a few days to get 1,000 credits. And I really think 1,000 is what you need to get a good solid test. That's just my opinion. But if you test something on your own and you get really good results with it, please feel free to share. I would greatly appreciate it. So first thing I'm going to do here on this side, the great thing about running these 2 tests is I can run, this doesn't take my Satoshi, by the way. Although I can use Bitcoin later, I don't need to use Bitcoin right now for this. Easy Hits for you does allow you to purchase, to use Bitcoin, which is awesome. That's another challenge I have with advertising. It's got to be sources that allow you to use Bitcoin. Okay, now this one, I've already did a small test over here. I think with I did 1,000 Satoshi, and then I did a 2,500 Satoshi, no, 5,000 Satoshi. And on 1,000 Satoshi, I got 1 referral during that test. I'm not certain where it came from, obviously, and I thought, okay, let me try another one. So I did 2,500 Satoshi, and I got 1. And I thought, okay, it's just too hard to tell. I will tell you there are plenty of CryptoTab ads, and that tells you that at one point it probably did work, but it could also mean that there's saturation in the market right now, possibly. But it's cheap. I mean, 1,000 Satoshi is what, 5 cents? And come over here, type surf ads. And here's my ads. This is one with my YouTube channel. This is my CryptoTab one. And you can just set them up. They're not hard. Start a new campaign. And I forget how many it was. At the time, 5,000 Satoshi got me roughly 500 visits. So I want to get 1,000 visits. So that's why I'm using 10,000 Satoshi. 10,000 Satoshi, which is what I'm waiting for my next withdrawal, which would be in a couple of days. I'm going to take those 10,000 Satoshi and see if I can get 2 or 3 signups here. And if I can, then I'm going to cautiously move forward. And I've got some other places, some other advertising to test out, but I've got to kind of be methodical and slow about it. When I find something that works, I just got to kind of keep it going and pump it, if you will. So I'll put a link down for AdBTC as well. And if you test anything out, by all means, let me know. I do believe I don't have to look at all this. I know how this works because I've gotten 1,500 Satoshi just from clicking around. I haven't clicked right here in a couple of days though. I do think the surf ads are going to be the better ad by far. I don't even think it's debatable, just so you know. You get a lot of Russian traffic and a lot of overseas traffic here. That's fine. I mean, our crypto tab can be used everywhere. And the good news is these people are obviously clicking for Bitcoin. This is a pay-to-click network, so they're actually clicking every ad they click on. They don't get credit, as in advertising credit. They actually get a small amount of Satoshi. Like, you can come here and click on an ad and get like, I think the most I got 96 Satoshi for one ad. But then it goes down from there to like 30 something to 20 something to 19 to 10. You'll get several ads for 10. Then you'll get ads for like 8 Satoshi, 7 Satoshi. Then the last ads will be like 3 Satoshi. And then you'll be done for the day. There's no more available ads. So when you run an ad, that's what you're doing. You're running it to people that are clicking for Satoshi. Again, low quality advertising, but you're literally talking about spending 50 cents potentially. 10,000 Satoshis, roughly 50 cents. You're talking about spending 50 cents to potentially get what I hope will be 2, 3, 4, 5 potential referrals. That's what I'm hoping. And it may be, shameless hoping, but we'll see. Okay. Moving along. That's where I'm at right now. And with the Bitcoin. By the way, I still am using free Bitcoin. And I'll put a link down that below. The great thing about free Bitcoin, which is nothing more than a Bitcoin faucet that you click every hour basically. The great thing about that is you actually get kind of a lot of Bitcoin compared to some of these other things if you were going to pay to click. And the only things I've really paid to click for Bitcoin has been advertising network, trying to get some advertising Satoshis. But now that here's my challenge. I almost should rather clicking around on ads is not a lot of fun. And I've been doing this. And now one thing I like about this is I actually think if this works, I can scale this a lot longer, a lot further. They get a lot of, I mean, there's 1,800 people online right now. Sometimes you get on here, there's 4,000 or 5,000 people on right now. That's a lot. I mean, that's a lot of people. And you see a lot of the same ads, which means there's a good percentage of these people spending money to advertise. It's not just from clicking. Like I see this ad all the time. The one I just saw, I see it all the time. So they're spending money. And by the way, if someone is getting a result on this ad here, if they're getting people who are going to put in their country, their first name, last name, email, telephone, street, city, state, blah, blah, blah. Now, they may have to, keep in mind, they may have to, spend $10 to get that, but they're getting, who knows what they get, what they earn when they become when this person becomes a customer for them. They obviously know the value of their customers. However, that's a lot. I mean, it's a lot of clicking. Like, that's a lot of credits. I think I want to say for $9 or $10, you get something crazy like 5,000 credits. So, maybe they're not looking for a lot of customers or a lot of leads. See, again, we're seeing this again. So I'm testing it out. I've got to go. You got to start somewhere. And obviously, as I'm earning more Satoshi, then that's wrong. Oh, by the way, this is in Google Chrome. I had trouble accessing. I normally use Firefox. I can't log in on Firefox, which is why I was using Chrome. All right. As I get more Satoshi, then it's less entertaining to click around. The only reason I would click around actually on those advertising sites is just part of this challenge. That is, who wants to do that for the rest of their lives? But if it helps me, test advertising and have some funds to be able to advertise again, I got to go from 0 Bitcoin to 1 full Bitcoin in the course of a year. All right, moving along, let's talk about proof of weak hands and the drama. Ivan on tech. But before we get there, this is pretty cool. Where's it at? I think it's nope. Right here. This is cool. This gentleman here had a conversation, and this is his video, Learn Crypto, aka the Professor. You can go check him out if you want. But I saw his video, and I've never actually watched any of his videos until today. And this was cool. He had a conversation he was asking the developer a lot of technical questions, and he had a great conversation. I don't know if you can read this, so I'll read it to you. He was basically asking questions about, where it come from, proof of weak hands, and that sort of thing. And the developer explained, this guy Manso is very active in the Discord. If you are looking at proof of weak hands or you're even interested in it, I encourage you to go into that Discord. It's a pretty active place. I've been in Discords before where just a bunch of people are talking nonsense, and there's a lot of that going on too. A lot of people talking and just joking and having fun. But when the developer comes in there and he talks and he's pretty active in there, and the other P3D bot guy goes in there, they're very active. They're just down to earth. They sound very down to earth, as much as you can tell about someone's character. But if you read this, Manso, this is what he had to say. He said the original origin of proof of weak hands has its roots in a project called Ponzi token. Ponzi token was a proof of concept code written by someone with a PhD in mathematics. You can Google it. It was mostly a gimmick thing and was by its design a true Ponzi. It was never meant for public scrutiny or use. Some prankster stumbled upon this website and without double checking for security exploits or doing anything else, they decided to copy the code and make a whole website around the code base and make it as a final product. No one in that team had any idea what they were really doing or what they were really dealing with, as none of them were programmers. This didn't stop them, however, but quite frankly, I don't even think they realized it would gain as much popularity as it did. Anyhow, fast forward a week after launch, and someone figured out the Coinbase had exploits. The guy that figured it out posted how to perform the exploit in a public chat. In parentheses, he shouldn't have done that, but whatever. Of course, someone was quick to notice, and not much later, the project died as it was drained by someone using the very same exploit that was posted in public. Now, I was never involved in that project. I just lost my ETH in it, so he was obviously an investor. I approached the leader of the project at the time, P3Bot, and said I would make the entire project from scratch under the premise that I would have control of management and under the premise that all the ex-developers would be kicked off the team or off the project as they clearly had no sense of responsibility or standards of quality. He agreed, and I rewrote the entire project from scratch and added a lot of functionality. I also removed the Ponzi aspect of the token. The rest is history. So that's very fascinating if you look at the origins of where it got started and why it got started. Again, this guy's pretty interesting to read about. They're working on a couple of things. They're looking for P3D to one day be able to interact. I mean, I've read this in the Discord. They're looking for P3D to one day be able to interact with Bitcoin. In other words, be able to use multi-coins on the chain. That's kind of one of what they're working towards. They're also working towards taking kind of the part of the concept of P3D, and they're calling it more of a serious project that has more applicable uses. Now, I don't know what that means for the future of P3D. I mean, they've made it very clear they're not killing this project or banning this product, and that's clear because almost every day they're making new announcements about something. But I do wonder, okay, so I've never liked the idea of having a split focus, so I don't know what that means. And that's one area of caution when you're investing here. I mean, it may be great. They've talked about the other token you would get paid out in P3D coins for whatever reason, or P3D tokens, the more serious token. But they've said the other token would definitely have more of a broad-based appeal than just, for people in crypto. I don't know what that means, but it's fascinating nonetheless. And it does show that there's an active group there. Next up, let's talk about this video I did. Ivan on Tech endorses proof of weak hands. Now this is Sunny Decree here, but I talked about that's not Ivan on Tech, but I talked about this, where supposedly Ivan on Tech was in the Discord. Now he came out and he responded, and this is what he had to say.
That is whole other level. Basically, it is so funny to talk about as well. But anyway, people claimed that I endorsed P3D, and I didn't really understand what is going on because random people told me, "Hey Ivan, have you know P3D? I heard that you are endorsing them." I was like, "What is going on? Why are people telling me this?" And
so, in a nutshell, he goes on to talk about this for 3 or 4 minutes, and he gets very passionate about it. And basically, he said he was impersonated, and he does not. He basically says that he doesn't believe in the project, and he makes several accusations. He's a very fair person. I will, meaning he's emotional, which is what I cannot have a problem with because he speaks from emotion. But he doesn't, call anything a scam outright. But I'm going to do another video where I'm basically going to kind of rebut some of what he says because he doesn't make a lot of baseless claims, and I think that's kind of what's fascinating. But there's no logic behind his emotion other than he's upset that someone impersonated him in the Discord. I mean, he says his blood was boiling, and that's fair. You can understand why anyone would be upset about that. But I'm going to make another shorter video where I discuss basically his reaction and what he says and my take on it, my opinion on it. Obviously, I'm biased, and obviously he's biased, so I'll discuss that. Ivan on Tech, by the way, great YouTube channel who talks about the crypto space. Some of his content I find rather boring, but when he starts having some of his technological discussions and where he thinks the future of the currency is going, that stuff's fascinating stuff. As you can see, I'm not subscribed. I don't subscribe to his content, but I do pull him up periodically and look at what he says. Now, in other news, several big YouTubers, I mentioned this in my last video, Sonny Decree absolutely is an investor into, and he said that point blank, he's an investor and into proof of weak hands. He finds it to be a fascinating concept. Here's the thing, he's looked at it, therefore he likes it. So when a lot of people have looked at it and it's hard to call it. You can call it a lot of things. Here's how you lose money in P3D. And everyone in P3D don't like this, but here's how they don't want to hear you say this. But you lose money if people lose faith in the token. If there was a reason that someone said, I no longer want to own P3D, then if that happened, if there was something to scare the market, whatever that could be, I don't know what that could be, but it would be something major. It would have to be major. Then the token price would drop. Yes, people would get paid dividends, and you wouldn't be left with zero. But if the price just tanked, then yeah, you're not going to get enough dividends to make up for the value that you lost in your P3D tokens, unless you were possibly an early investor who made a lot just by holding onto the tokens for a very long time. Then that will exponentially decrease your potential risk. Or if the contract got hacked, which would be obviously extremely dire if that occurred. If that could happen. But Sonny Decree, he's looked at it and he thinks it's kind of a reasonable project, and that's a pretty big deal, because when you have a small YouTube channel, you can say what you want to, nobody cares. But when you have a following of 54,000, you're trying to grow that, then you kind of you want to be careful what you put out there, and you want to make certain that you're saying stuff that you really believe in. You're not just trying to shield a project. And he tries to be measured when he's talking about it as well. Another example, this was a big, Superman. Superman has 140,000. These two combined, Superman is almost 3 times the size of Sonny Decree, but Superman, and he has a mixed, the people love him or hate him. And the reason they hate him is because, I'll show you, he sells constantly, sells. I don't have any problem with that personally, but he's known to always be promoting something new. However, he found P3D, and he was never involved with anything like BitConnect or anything like that. So for him to see P3D and to come out publicly, and he's basically said, hey, it looks cool. I've made a small investment in it just to kind of test it out. And he says, I'm not telling you to do it, but it's clear that he likes the idea of the project. It's clear he finds it fascinating. And quite honestly, here's the #1 reason people are going to use P3D. Because it's currently going up in value and the rest of the market is going down. It's currently providing some method of returns when the rest of the market is not, and it's going down. And so I said, how do you lose money in P3D? Well, you lose money if people lose faith in the token. But guess what? You also lose money if people lose faith in Bitcoin, people lose faith in Ethereum, people lose faith in any cryptocurrency. So, I mean, I'm not saying one way or another that what I'm saying is this entire space is risky. And you have to make your own decisions about your own investments, and you're responsible for those decisions. But some of the claims that have been made about P3D, like it's just an outright Ponzi, well, clearly, even Ivan on Tech says, that it's not necessarily a Ponzi. And I'll discuss that in another video. So, thank you so much for watching. If you got any questions, please put them in the comments. I would appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification icon. My next video is going to be much shorter, and I'm going to talk specifically about Ivan on Tech and what he had to say. In fact, I'm going to do that video next. Also, in the description down below, you're going to see links for CryptoTab. I'll usually do a short video description, but then you'll see links for CryptoTab, easy hits, Add BTC. Those are all the links that I'm currently using, testing out advertising. If you've got any ideas, and if you got anything that you want to see, by the way, on my Bitcoin challenge, if you're joining this challenge with me, or if you're just trying to grow a passive income or passive Bitcoin stream through mining and referrals, then by all means, if you've got any ideas, put them down below. And I can do a whole video on promotion. I can do a video on low cost promotion, say less than $30 a month. And I can also do a video on I can also do a video for you on different methods that are free, that are more organic and offline. So I can do both. So if you want me to do one of those, and it's nothing sexy, by the way, it's just doing something that just works over time. So if you, and I also have a Twitter method that costs a little bit of money that I'm not doing. I can include that in my $30 or less per month strategy to help you get referrals. And I know firsthand for a fact that Twitter method would work. In fact, the first little bit of money I have, I'll implement that Twitter method because it will absolutely work. You will probably get signups most every day from Twitter with that strategy. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button and hit that bell notification icon.